Strap yourself in for what were prohibited and available in the state of shock.
Dance Underground Drum Talk TV with a vocalist. Why? Well, because we have a perspective series and we talk to people who aren't primarily drummers about drumming and rhythm and everything. And we have with us Neil Turbin, who you may know from Anthrax from way back when, but now you're doing Deathriders.
Right.
Talk about that.
Sure. Well, Deathriders is a band that has lots of drumming because it's, very high BPM, beats per minute type of. I wouldn't say it's superly overly technical drumming, but it's we like the world class speedy drummers. I mean, our songs tend to be not mid-tempo thrash, but we're more technical where beats get flipped and tempos change and
cool. So it's like progressive metal in a way, maybe.
Well, it has we don't play by conventional rules, so we absolutely incorporate and infuse rhythmic percussive type of drum beats as well as very European oriented type of beats.
Mm-hmm.
And straight thrash can be kind of like like that waltz beat. That's 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Over and over, same thing. Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think from my perspective, I've evolved my musical style of writing past what is expected. I don't do what's expected. I do what's unexpected.
Right.
And I try to think out of the box, not be stuck inside of a one-dimensional box.
Right. Well, what's the instrumentation and who's in the band?
Well, currently, the instrumentation is two guitar, two double bass drum type scenario.
And who's playing drums?
Bass. Sean Elge is the drummer right now, and he's played in Nihilist, and he's been with the band for a few years.
Great.
And the band's been around for since 2001.
Right.
After my solo album, we were working basically 2001 to 2003 on the album, and the band came from that to support the live version of those songs. But on bass guitar, Michael Lopez. On guitar, on two guitars, Casey Trask and also Arnold Gonzalez are on lead guitar both. And,
cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so we've been in a formation playing shows in the West Coast primarily, but we do have a show booked and some show dates overseas in Europe and Germany, Headbangers Open Air 2014. And, we just played last night at NAMM Metal Jam with 50 artists that range from some of the artists that are playing tonight at Bonzo Bash. So that would be like Michael Devon from Whitesnake. And I'm not sure exactly who all's on the bill, but I know you have great artists here tonight. It's just it's like drum heaven.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So, do you write the lyrics as well, Neil?
Well, I've written lyrics for songs like Metal Thrashing Mad and Death Rider and Armed and Dangerous and Gung Ho. So yeah, I write some lyrics.
When you write lyrics, do you write simply the lyrics, or do you also think cadence and rhythms for your phrasing and things like that? Does rhythm come into your lyric writing?
Absolutely. I write the solos. I write the drum parts. I write drum licks, but then I have to take a step back and let someone who's a sharpshooter step in, because when it comes to drumming especially, a guy like a Glenn Sobel, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm working with Glenn, but we jammed together before and we had the opportunity to play together yesterday, but guys like that who really are on the next level and then the level after that, it's just they understand drumming differently than I would.
Right.
Because they really understand the breakdown of all the techniques and all the different things. Just like guitar players know Phrygian mode.
Right, exactly.
Pentatonic, Phrygian,
Yeah, arpeggios.
If you're schooled, if you're really schooled, Berkeley or, Juilliard or one of those Musicians Institute. I mean, it's all theory-based. I mean, I've always been a guy who works off of feel, who works off of passion, and I think what happened is vocally, I had to go take it to the next place, so that's why I'm playing guitar and not in the band, but just to it's just fun.
Your writing.
It's fun.
Yeah. That's cool. That's the most important reason.
I mean, that's the only reason to do this is because it's fun.
Yeah.
Because everyone downloads all the shit anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just music. It's like if you're doing a high budget movie production film and your shit's out on the internet before it's even released, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah,
but that's what's
absolutely.
happening. But
what do you think is the cure for that?
The cure for that was originally, in my opinion, my humble opinion, really, because I'm not one to speak for everybody out there in the media land, but I think they could have probably controlled it a little differently the way it was put out there in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you have these different media formats, and to just put it out there without any controls on the, the security of a CD to pull off that data.
Right.
So they didn't write that code into.
They didn't lock it in well enough.
Yeah, they didn't put the code in there.
Yeah.
And the way I see it is that there's a reason for that. It was done intentionally. Like they could have. I mean, these programmers, and we're on a whole different technical subject.
And that's okay.
But these programmers, they could have written code to prevent this type of scenario. It's almost like if you look at the government and the internet, if you look at the borders between countries, you have to have a passport to cross the border.
Right.
And they look at your ID, and they have, chips and all this RFID stuff. But when it comes to the internet, you can cross the fucking border
Yeah.
without any kind of ID card.
Right.
What's wrong with that picture? And therefore, this is by design, in my opinion, because how could it be by accident? Because you're talking about a bunch of control freaks controlling everything. You can't even, they got cameras on every.
Right.
Go to Europe, they got a camera on every freaking light post out there. You can't go anywhere. You can't scratch your head without a camera getting it.
Yeah.
So, and they got satellites, and we're paying attention. So, the point being is that the internet is by design, and it's very interesting and very strange at the same time. But it kind of put us all in a different place, because when I was a kid growing up, we actually played together with other kids. We actually rode bikes. And we actually played music and came to each other's house.
Went to the park.
Yeah, we went to each other's house, and I brought Kiss records, and my friend brought some Parliament Funkadelic records. And he was like, here's a Mothership in Madison Square Garden.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, here's the Flames and the fucking Blood.
Yeah.
And the heavy metal from Kiss.
Right.
So it was really cool.
It was interactive in a different way,
Yeah,
the human way, organic way.
So now people just, have their kids, and they never leave the house, and you don't even see kids on the street. They just play video games, and that's their interaction. But I think music is a beautiful thing, and it's certainly the universal language, and drums is so amazing because that's like its own language.
Yeah.
I mean, you have drum circles, you have, just on the level of some of the players that are playing tonight at Bonzo Bash, you have these players that are just from another planet on drums.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they speak the same language. Somehow.
Right.
And it's kind of cool because they can kind of play off of each other, and it's almost like, symphony orchestra. They can play off of each other. Yeah. Different instruments happen at different times, just like drums will question and answer in response to the other. So I think it's amazing to have this type of an event, and I give kudos to Brian Tichy and Joe Sutton for putting something like this together, because it's amazing. And I know because I put NAMM Metal Jam together last night at the Whiskey, and we had 50 artists. This is like that times 1,010. I mean, it's hard to imagine the work that goes into it, and trying to manage something that big.
Absolutely. Dude, that's such great insight for not just the music business, but socially.
That's without drinking.
Yeah, there you go. Monster.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Neil.
It's a
Drum
real
Talk
pleasure.
TV. Really appreciate it. Anytime you have something we can help promote, please send it our way. We'll push it out there, and we support you 100%. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. I bet you don't have one of these.
Let me see. Oh, I do now.
That's right.
See
Deathriders
that?
pick.
Deathriders pick here on Drum Talk TV with Neil Turbin. I'm Dan Schinner. Thanks for joining us here at the Bonzo Bash, January 2014 with Neil Turbin. Over and out.